Hello and welcome to Pinkpreneur Spotlight with Sara Connell. My name is Suzanne Longstreet, and I'm looking forward to chatting with Sara, who I've now known for a year. It's been a year, Sara, just over a year since we met. We were part of another coaching program, and we've met and done some work together. And I've been really enjoying getting to know you this past year and watching you just soar and celebrating the publishing a #1 bestseller of Science of Getting Rich for Women. And so welcome, my friend. I'm so happy that you're here, and we're going to chat about you and what you're doing.
Thanks for having me, Suzanne, and hello, everybody.
I want to know, tell us how you came to be doing what you're doing. So tell me a little bit more about your path to what you're doing and how you go out into the world and help others.
Yeah, so I was one of those kids that wanted to be a writer. I was really into reading and stories and books. And I really took on along the way the idea that someone had to tell you that you're allowed to pursue a certain dream, right? So I was looking for a teacher, a parent, something to say, this is your destiny, right? And when that didn't happen, and I thought, oh, I guess I'm not allowed. I guess I'm not good enough, and I wonder if we were in a room with everybody right now, I would say, has anyone ever had this kind of experience, like in some way? So I said, okay, I'm not, I can't do that. So I went and got a job. It was like a shadow creative job. That's a Julia Cameron term that basically it's like adjacent to what you want to do,
Mm.
but really, and typically it brings sort of disastrous results when we kind of veer off our authentic path. And so I get into this job at this ad agency that's supposed to be so great, and it was a nightmare. It
Mhm.
was very much out of the Me Too era. It was abusive, it was toxic, and I really did feel like I was dying inside going to that job.
Gosh.
It was like, and so I know so many of you can probably relate, whether it was like the boyfriend, the job, the something, and it's like, this isn't even me, what am I doing? And so anyway, I find this book one day randomly, because I don't really believe it's random anymore, right? And I found a book, and I read the book in one day, and by the time I finished reading that book, it was called Holy Hunger by a woman named Margaret Willett Jonas. And I realized, like, I have to change my life. This was just, she's not a celebrity, famous person, just a woman who shared her story in a book. And I said, I've got to get out of this job. I have to go get some help for my mental health, because the fact that I'm in this job is really indicative of, like, where my self-esteem and my health is. And I credit I credit my life to that book. I mean, I
Wow.
really do credit that book as saving my life. And two things came out of that. One was that I knew that a book could save a life, and I was going to dedicate the rest of my life to writing them. And you can even hear my voice, like the emotion, sometimes still there. But I was going to dedicate the rest of my life to writing books that hopefully would pay it forward, the gift that I'd been given. And then I was also going to make it my mission to support other women in particular who have a story to share. Make sure that not only they share that story in the world and make the impact, but something, Suzanne, you and I are both extremely passionate about is that they make the income jumps as well, because a big part of my pattern as a woman, as a writer, all these things loaded up to basically say, you can't make any money.
Yeah.
And it's a lie. It's a lie, but it's true as long as we keep participating in it. And so the reason I'm so grateful to do what I do and help women write best-selling books and speak on the TEDx stage and go out and share their message in the world in a powerful way and make really, really great money doing that, is because it's everything that I needed, right? It's like, and that's, I think, so much of the time our own mission becomes our ministry, if people want to use that language, but just it's our purpose.
Yeah.
And I wake up every day, I'm so excited that I get to do this work.
I'm so glad. Yeah. I knew a little bit about your story, so thank you for sharing again. And I'm wondering how many people who are watching this who just clicked on and have recognized themselves in that situation, in that circumstance right now, where they're staying in the marriage or the relationship, where they are in the job that they hate, and they're allowing that abuse and bullying and victimization to happen today.
Yeah.
And that needs to change. So if that is you, not, and you are hearing this, then this is a call for you to wake up and do something about it, because you, like Sara and I, have both been in horrible situations. You don't need to be in that situation. There is a way out, and both Sara and I are on the other side. And so we're going to talk a little bit more about how Sara can help you with that. Sara, one of the things that I particularly love about what you're doing, the article that, if I remember correctly, that led to this particular book was the article that was written in April of 2021 by Oxfam. And it was as a result of a study that they did. And how much money did women lose as a result of the pandemic?
Even at that time in 2021,
Yes.
women had lost $800 billion. It's an unbelievable number. It's a staggering number. I thought it had to be million, which still would have been appalling.
Yes.
800 million would have been appalling. $1 billion. Now that's to women that lost their jobs, women that were furloughed, women that took pay cuts. And then I had several friends in the position of having much younger children. Like my son was in elementary school, so we could sort of navigate. But I had friends with toddlers, and they had to quit their jobs because the daycares were closing constantly with what are they going to stick their kid in front of a screen all day? No. So $800 billion was the financial setback as of 2021 for women.
Yeah. And I was talking to a woman who is at the liquor store, and she's in a clerical role, like she's the cashier. And we were chatting, and she was saying how we were chatting about small town. We were chatting about how people are kind of mean to the cashiers. And she said, she had left me waiting for a whole of 5 seconds. She goes, "I'm sorry, I keep waiting, ma'am." And I said, "It's okay. It was only 5 seconds. I'm good. My wine and I can wait." And she said, "You would be horrified at how many people are," and she said, and I said, "What? Aren't we grateful that people have the role that you're in and that you're here serving us, because so many people aren't working right now?" And she goes, "I'm playing catch up from COVID. I am in two jobs, and I'm happy to be here, but I'm playing catch up."
Playing catch up. And something, Susanna, you and I really work with in your NLP work, and meaning, working on the subconscious mind, working on the mindset. And what I'm empowering people around then, okay, once your mindset's set, like how you're gonna use the strategies, what actions to take to create that impact and the income. And there's that wonderful saying, and it's by anonymous, so who knows who first said it, but that every setback is the setup for the comeback. And the comeback is not just to get to where we were. I am fully committed. Reason I wrote The Science of Getting Rich for Women and do the coaching that I do is that we far surpass. We already had a confidence gap and a pay gap going into the pandemic. So this sort of exacerbated. And the good part about something getting, we love an underdog story. So we really have an opportunity here, not just to catch up, but to surpass, smash through whatever that next glass ceiling has been. And they exist in every industry. Studies show freelancing rates. It's not just in corporate roles. This is a glass ceiling that exists because of our conditioning beliefs, right? That you help people release and transform. So it's such exciting work. Like you said, you and I have both been in abusive relationships of varying kinds, and everyone deserves wholeness, safety, health, and I believe abundance.
I agree. Yeah. One of the things that we learned in our training, and that is you can't have influence without affluence. So, and women, when we make money, and good money, where it's not just, able to float up above the waterline, but good money, and unapologetically, we change more lives.
Yes.
Right.
And that is, look, money is a form of power in our culture.
Yes.
We don't have to let it mean anything more than that. It's not about our worth. It's not about our value. It's not our specialness, none of those things, but it is power. It is influence. And we can vote with our paychecks and vote with the dollars. That's why it's powerful. And that's why it's so important that we do smash through whatever that next ceiling, not just catch up, but go beyond.
Yes, I totally agree, because when we speak up, when we share what's going on, we can make a healthy impact, and we can change. Like, I'm in Canada, you're in the United States. We can change what's going on in our political situation, but we can't speak up and have our voice if we're not making good money.
I love that you mentioned good money, Suzanne. I had a client who's working on her. So I love getting to work on the books with all these
Yeah.
amazing women because I learn, right? Because everyone has their unique genius and their expertise, and it's so thrilling. And one of the women we worked with, I think it was 2 years ago, she was in development of her book. And there was a study done that when women put together their goals financially, that they put down what will get them by. It's like what will cover their expenses. And that is a conditioned pattern. When men are asked to do their financial goals, they set goals with an ambition level that typically, so now I do it that way now, right? That's where we can really bring in the divine masculine, right? I watched myself and I said, do I do that? And I did. I looked and I said, oh, I made a goal of this is what covers my expenses. Maybe with some savings, right? Like to contribute to some retirement thing. But it wasn't an abundant goal. It wasn't about overflow. It wasn't about financial freedom. It really was just more getting by. So I want to offer anybody watching, it's a fun exercise to just look at what are you saying you want, what are you working toward financially? And is it really about just sort of meeting your expenses, or is it about financial freedom?
Right.
And that for me was a huge shift.
I love that. And as a result, so just full disclosure here, I am part of Sarah's Thought Leader Academy, which I joined in October. And then in June, I joined your Up Level, your Oracle Mastermind, which I'm loving because since joining that, I reached my yearly goal in revenue and I'm set to double what was my magnificent goal last year. Right. And we're celebrating that and we're going, yes. And you want that for me, which is what I absolutely love about working with your community is you want us to be celebrating it. And that's what I want for people. I want you to come in and say, oh my gosh, I had my best month ever. I
Yes.
nailed it at $5,000, $50,000, $500,000. And I want people to be women to claim that and come in and boast about it. Like, yeah, this is what I did and it's all good.
And I'm celebrating
Yes.
the growth in myself, the healing of ancestral and cultural. We're cycle breaking
Yes.
ancestral and cultural patterns. And Suzanne, you were one of the first people because you're my mentor. I interviewed Suzanne, I interviewed for the Science of Getting Rich for Women because I wanted women neuroscientists, women who are working at the level of neuroscience and the brain and subconscious, and being able to say, what do we really need? Because we can want it, right? We can say, oh, I need $1 million. And it's never going to, I had that goal for a while, but when I worked with you, I knew that you meant it. You were like, oh yeah, that's what I do. I help people go to 7 figures and beyond. Right. And you've done it with me, you've done it with lots of people. And I did get to that million mark working with you. And so I want everyone to hear, it's not enough to only consciously claim. That's why a whole section of that book is devoted to the releasing of the limiting beliefs and patterns. We think, oh, yeah. Because intellectually we say, I don't think I should earn less than men in my life, or I don't think it's bad if I earn more than everyone in my family, or I don't think it's bad if I, want a beautiful new home, or a certain trip somewhere. Or again, with a lot of our clients, it's not even the stuff. It's like you said, how can I vote?
Right.
With my voice? What opportunities does this open up for me to get my book out in a bigger way, or speak, or be an activist in my community? And so I just, really want to impress on everyone, like, no beating up of yourself. I had a goal of being a 6-figure entrepreneur for years, and I couldn't do it because consciously I was saying 6 figures. And 90% that subconscious was going, no, not safe, don't deserve, not allowed, you're bad, can't have it.
Yeah.
And so of course I got nowhere. Until I did this work that you do. And so that's not to have everyone feel like, oh, there's more work. It's like, hey, guess what? There's a way.
Yes, there's a way. And it's easier than you think. And but it is about the way you think.
It really is. And focusing on what we want versus what we don't want, which sounds like so obvious. And yet I bet if all of us inventoried, I do inventory my thoughts regularly, but if anyone wants to have a real fun game for them, just all day, notice, what are you thinking?
Yes.
And then noticing, is it helpful, unhelpful, or is it in alignment with your goals and desires, or out of alignment? That is for me, a very illuminating exercise.
I totally agree. So one of the things that I absolutely adore about you, Sara, is that you show up with love. You genuinely are interested in other people, and you really want each one of us to succeed. You like, I can feel it in every bone and cell of my body. So I was in the room with you in May when I was at your event there. And that's what I love about you. The other part that I absolutely adore is you're well read, and you have these beautiful nuggets of information that come out of you. There's been so many that I just like, and it lands with me really well. So I absolutely love that. So I feel like I'm always learning from you, and
Mm,
I love that. And so tell us a little bit about your greatest desire for women.
yeah.
Well, let's start with your clients, then women, and then the
Yes.
planet. Yeah.
Well, certainly for my clients, I want the full fulfillment of their vision. One of the things that I love so much is someone will come and say, I want to write a book. I mean, it'll be a short book. I don't care if it's a bestseller. Like, I'm not a writer. They start kind of backing themselves. And what I see for them, because I already know we have the code, we have the roadmap. It's like, you're going to write that book. I want them to write the book and love it and enjoy the process. I want them to publish it and for it to be a bestseller. And I want them to have the experience of people writing, emailing, DMing them and saying, you changed my life. Like this, I've read all this stuff, but this is the one, I heard it finally, whatever. And that happens all the time for our clients. So I want them to be on whatever stages they want to be on. I want them to be essentially creating that impact and income that they really desire and deserve. And I probably want a little more from, like, I was like at a zero or,
Yes.
whatever. And then we've had so many people who, again, I just want to do the book, Sarah. I don't have the best. I don't care. I don't care if anyone read, and then they get there and it is a bestseller and lots of people do read it and they do start changing lives in that way. And I want people to change lives through their thought leadership.
Love that.
For the inner transformation they receive, that we all receive when we do something new and big. And I want it selfishly for all the people that all of you watching are here to serve, because that's the thing. That's the ripple effects. It's not even about us. It's really, our mission is so much bigger. It's about the people who were like me at that horrible job. And I needed that book. And if that woman, Margaret Bullitt Jonas, had just said, who am I? I'm too old. I'm this. I'm not a writer. I'm a woman. I didn't go to school. My English teacher didn't think I was good. And then, like, I wouldn't have gotten my lifeline.
Yeah.
So that's what I want. I want people to have all the joy of it, and I want them to change the lives.
Yeah. And how will that affect the planet, do you think?
Well, then the ripple, first of all, what it does is something on a very profound, I think, consciousness level. If we think about, we're all related to each other, which I think we are in energy. Every woman that lets go of the belief that she's not worthy, whether it's to share her story, to earn more money, to have a place, take up space in the world, that frees every other woman coming up behind her, nieces, daughters, cousins, friends, future generations. So that's really what I want on the planet, is there to be an eradication of the lie that started with patriarchy a few thousand years ago. For 80,000 years, one of my fun facts, Suzanne,
Yes.
80,000 years, the image of God was a woman giving birth. And it doesn't mean about having a kid, giving birth to your ideas, your genius, your gifts. So that was the symbol of power. And then we swung to patriarchy, and it just is what it is. But that it put, like in one of those Disney movies, like a spell over everyone. Somehow women are inferior and they're less than, as a way to, sort of control the power. I want that unleashed, and when that's unleashed with inclusivity and not women against men. And I don't want to swing it back to some other matriarchal perspective. I think we get to come to the place of real evolution. You talk about it as quantum, Suzanne, quantum a quantum experience. That's what I want for the planet. And I think that women shedding the lie that we're not worthy, that we are inferior, is part of that transformation.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you're hearing, when we hear that, who are you to do that? Who am I? I'm not worthy. All of that crap, we just get rid of it. I want you just, and if you're triggered, those of you listening, if you're triggered by making money and making a lot of it unapologetically, then there's something out of balance inside of you, and you get to work on that. That is because I was talking about being mentioned in your book and in a group and networking group, and they were all, very rich. They were
Yeah.
very, rich.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, hang on. It is just energy. Money is just a tool, and you get to use it, you get to have it and
Yeah.
use it for good. Just
Yeah.
like, Glinda the Good Witch said, you could, it's for good. It's what you do with it is for good. And
Yes.
that's what we get to choose. So that's what you tell us and teach us. So you're also hosting an event in October to
Yes.
really get women to start movements. And I
Yes.
think you've called it that, women starting movements,
Yes.
right?
Women
Tell us more
starting
about that.
movements. So we're going to meet in person. How delightful, right? Those of us that are ready
Yay.
to actually like see each other and be in that energy, that in-person energy. So it's in Chicago, October 11th through the 13th. And what's so exciting, we're going to have 100 women in this gorgeous space. And what happens in those 3 days is that we get to move through all those pieces of the what I call like the thought leader pathway, right? How can I use my writing, whether that's in a social media post, an article, a book, my voice with speaking, whether it's again on podcasts or going live or on a stage? How do we find the people we're here to serve and become a truly empowered, dynamic leader? And how do we monetize? And Suzanne, I love that hearing about the triggers, because I used to get so triggered.
Me
I
too.
didn't want to write the book. I was sort of through my triggers, and then I got really twitchy. I had some people kind of, have that reaction, Rich. And I thought, I'm kind of triggered, and I wanted to change the title. And I thought this is exactly why I have to do it. It's exactly why, because rich means not just money, it's rich in love and creativity and connection and health and vitality. So that's what we're about. We get lit up in these 3 days with the richness in all those areas of life, and then learn some very specific proven strategies to help increase that impact and income. So by the end of the 3 days, you have a success plan. It's like, here is how I really, whether it's a movement of one, like you're going to change your own inner, being and energy, or a movement of millions, you've got a roadmap and you have a game plan. And what has come out of this, conference that we've doing for the last 4 years are the most extraordinary. I mean, people who thought, me, a move, that's like almost as triggering as rich, a movement, who am I? And you see women step into leadership in a way that is just wasn't even on the radar. And the 10-year plan becomes the 1-year plan.
Mm,
I've just seen it happen over and over.
that's so great. So how do people get a ticket to this event?
Yes. So we have a few tickets left. And Suzanne, because you're featured in the book and one of my mentors and beloved colleagues, we have 5 tickets that Suzanne has. They're her gift that she's gifting all of you in this amazing community. If you are interested in coming to Chicago and being part of it, this is a $500 gift that Suzanne is giving you, completely free, because we want to change the next 5 women's lives here in this group, so that whatever on the vision board is your reality in the next few months. That's what we want.
Yeah, not 5 years, not 10 years, but this year,
This year.
in the next 12 months.
Yeah.
So if you are interested in joining Sara and I at the Women Starting Movement event in October 2022, October 11, 12, 13, in Chicago, Illinois, please send me a direct message through Facebook or an email if you have my email, Suzanne@successandclarity.com, and let me know that you're interested, and we'll have a conversation, and I'll figure out, we'll get you the ticket. Sara's team
Get you the ticket.
handles the magic of that.
Right.
Sara, any last comments that you want to share about this or anything else?
Well, I'm fired up. I'm really excited for those of you. I got excited when Suzanne shared about the strength. Think about, we talk about a rising tide raises all ships. And this group with, Pinkpreneurs is 1900 strong. So there are miracles ready to happen. There are millionaires ready to pop. There are movements ready to be ignited. So just keep us posted. Please let us know any way that I can support you, Suzanne can support you, and come to Chicago so we can really create that catalyst. So you go all the way.
So I'm anticipating some people might say, well, I can't come to Chicago. Is there going to be an online event or?
Yes, so we do have a lot of online events. So what if you message Suzanne, you're interested and you can't do that, or if you can post just our, we can get you on our list for all the upcoming virtual events because we have quite a few that are going on, and we have at least something every month.
Yeah, you do. You have a lot of great content, and they're full of rich content that are very helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Sara Connell, author of Science of Getting Rich for Women and other books. I am so happy that you shared this with us, and it was good to spend time with you.
Great to see you.
Thank you.